Let's talk about overconsumption and Labubus as someone who genuinely loves collecting vintage Garfields. Hi, I'm Sydney, and welcome back to my Flock and Squawk. And if you've been with me for any amount of time, you may or may not know that I love vintage Garfields, and I have myself a collection here. These are almost all of the plush ones that I have, but I absolutely love collecting Garfields. But I feel like my collection and the global, epidemic, maybe epidemic's not the right word, but the global frenzy that there is around Labubus have some key distinctions. So first off, I'm going to break this video down into a few parts to kind of organize my thoughts. And we are going to start with, Labubus. Labubus is the main overconsumption topic that I feel like I can speak on as someone who collects items. For one, I think Labubus as a concept, fantastic. I love a good cute little keychain, a little plush figure. Labubus, for me, do not scratch the itch in my mind of something that is cutesy. I have seen some fake Labubus, which people call Lafufus, that I thought have been cuter just because of not having the hard plastic face. I've never seen a Labubu in person, but they just don't appeal to me personally on a design aspect. They appeal to me in a conceptual way. And if we want to get into a little bit of the history of Labubus, I have the Wikipedia page pulled up here. And Labubu is a brand of collectible plush toy monster elves created by Hong Kong designer Kaising Lung. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce Chinese names, I apologize. And marketed and sold exclusively at Chinese-based retailer Pop Mart. Labubu is the name of the main character of the series. So it was designed by this Hong Kong-born artist who was raised in the Netherlands, and it's part of their story series, The Monsters, influenced by Nordic folklore that he enjoyed in his childhood, which, that sounds amazing. And I'm just reading here off the Wikipedia page, and it says that Labubu was first introduced in 2015 with Monsters figurines, and then, it's been a thing at Pop Mart. And I believe that, yes, okay. So, Labubus became big ticket items in 2024 after K-pop group member Blackpink member Lisa was spotted with a Labubu keychain on her bag. That's at least from this Wikipedia page. So that's sort of the history of Labubus. They've been around for a while, but seeing a famous idol have one on her bag is kind of what sparked this massive consumption of them, this hunting for them, this popularity overdrive for the Labubus. I find absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think it's amazing that this character has popularity. There's a lot of characters out there that have had popularity for years, such as Hello Kitty, Pokemon. There are a ton of characters, Garfield and the Peanuts included, that have major popularity, major appeal, and have major consumerism behind them. Garfield, I would not have any of these Garfields if he was not so successful in the 80s with products and plushies and just major capitalism, consumerism in mind. He appeals to all age ranges, and Labubus appeal to so many age ranges as well. So why do I have issues with Labubus if it's not on a design basis, if I don't really have a problem necessarily with the capitalist nature of it? Because Garfield has the capitalist nature of all these products were produced because he was selling fantastically. My big thing is the overconsumption element. So let me just take a moment and collect my thoughts. I have an issue with the overconsumption, mindless overconsumption. It's the same thing that we saw with Stanley Cups. People are buying product in mass as a clout status symbol. Let's be honest. It's a status symbol to have a rare or a lot of an item. Stanley Cups offered special collaboration cups, limited edition ones. Labubus are essentially doing the same thing, even though they started as a blind box figure to begin with. There's rares in blind boxes all the time. It's nothing specific to Labubus. But this craze that has started and really escalated with the Labubus is showing that, to me at least, that people are consuming for the rush, for the thrill, and the status. I don't collect Garfield because he's the most amazing high-ticket item in the world. I collect him because I genuinely love him, and most of my Garfields actually have a story. This big guy I got for Christmas this past year. Connor picked him out for me. I have one that's sitting over there that's also from Christmas this past year. I have this one that Connor got, and we had like made little charm necklaces for, and I sleep with him every night. And when Connor has gone on trips and stuff, he's taken him so that way he could cuddle him. I really just adore like vibe-based collecting. When I look at this Garfield, it sparks a lot of joy. I honestly am so excited to see him like on our couch just every day. And like this little guy, he brings me so much joy when he's sitting on my desk and just going into the bedroom and seeing this Garfield always next to my pillow and getting to see this guy sit over on one of my other desks. It sparks so much joy. And I look at it and I feel happy and I get to cuddle them, and my collection is not just something on a shelf for me. And it's purely like honed in on what I personally feel is enjoyable. So essentially what I am saying is that as someone who collects, my collection is specialized just for me. It's what I love, my aesthetics, my personal feelings towards an item. It's not just trying to get a rush. My rush isn't in the buying of an item. My rush is in the enjoyment of like, oh my gosh, the fact that I have one that is so large that like I can cuddle like a child. Like this is more my enjoyment as opposed to trying to hunt for the rarest. And sure, while I do have a rare Garfield, I genuinely love looking at him and seeing like him there. Whereas I get the impression looking online and how people talk about Labubus that it is truly about that clout overconsumption. You're wanting to have the rare color variant or just a lot to be able to show off, because it is a very expensive thing to buy blind boxes. The whole set in a box doesn't guarantee you the rare item or rare color wave. So some people have purchased multiple boxes to be able to get that set, and then there are multiple sets that you can get. So I feel like the overconsumption nature is what separates collecting as a hobby versus just consuming. Overconsumption is basically whenever you have more than you can reasonably use. It also comes into play with producing more than what materials can allow or what the environment can handle. And I don't really see there's not like a clear secondhand market that can arise for Labubus, because there's no lasting staying power that I'm envisioning for something like this. Stanley Cups I can kind of understand because you can get them secondhand. It's a cup, it has a very useful purpose. And I'm not saying that everything has to have a purpose other than enjoyment. But like there is a level of wondering, is this just going to be a fad that goes straight to the trash after people have decided that this is done with? Or is it going to be something like Garfield, where these vintage Garfields still have a life 40 years later? People like me still really enjoy them. Whereas Labubus, like, yes, they've been around since 2015, but the craze has only really happened since last year in 2024, when people saw a famous idol with one on her bag. It's not that people are enjoying the source material and then wanting the monster doll to go with the book or to go with the art. Whereas Garfield and Hello Kitty, there's other media than just the physical item. So that is where I kind of question what's going on. We have enough overconsumption as is, but a clothing item, like, sure, you might be buying it because it's stylish, but you can incorporate it into your wardrobe, or when you donate it, there's a direct, like, people can still use it. Whereas the Labubu, once it's out of fashion, are people still going to want to pick it up secondhand? Maybe, but it's less useful as a secondhand item. So I think I've kind of wrapped up my main issue in that it feels more consumerism, clout chasing, than genuine enjoyment of an item. It's keeping up with a trend as opposed to just specifically getting what you like and honing in on just a specific thing. I'm sure there are plenty of people who have gotten one singular Labubu and they're fine, or have purchased an opened box for the couple colorways that they actually like the pink ones, or just whatever. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of people who consume these Labubus in a ethical way, or a less consumerism, overconsumption way, just like how I have collected Garfields that I specifically enjoy. But the mainstream media, which could honestly just be the loudest minority, showcasing this overconsumption is concerning. What is the course of action, the lifespan of a Labubu? But, I mean, like I said, I cannot judge someone for collecting or enjoying trivial items. It's just the overconsumption element that makes me want to separate Labubus from, or the overconsumption element of something that is popular for the sake of being popular versus actually collecting something as a collector, as a hobby, which we could get into so many different elements. But I just kind of wanted to give some of my thoughts. And speaking of collecting for the love of collecting, if you would like to see all of my collection, maybe I'll do a separate video about that and just showing each one off, kind of giving the story. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!